parties that this is too serious for it to become a divisive issue, and we must work together in the national interest.
All right, well, Nigel Farage, do things that are too serious not become divisive?
I mean, 6 months have nearly gone by since the referendum. We've wasted all this time already. You know, had the Prime Minister shown real leadership, triggered Article 50, we wouldn't be going through court cases. We'd actually be getting on with the process. And my concern is that we trigger Article 50 in March. That's what the House of Commons agreed to do. And if we spend 2 years negotiating this, that'll be another net £20 billion we paid away. It'll be another, at current rates, at least 500,000 people who come to settle in this country, net. But more crucially, it'll be lost opportunities. I talked about America earlier. There are 24 countries since we left the EU that have come to us and said, we want to have a trade deal with the United Kingdom. It's very difficult for us to do any of that whilst we're going through this process. So I would say this, if we wanted to, we could leave in 2 weeks. If we wanted to. We could just say, that's it, we're leaving, we'll trade with you on WTO rules. The reason it's going to take a long time is because my impression is that this government and most people in Parliament want us to stay in the single market. And I think we're going to finish up in the spring of 19, effectively with a Norwegian-type deal, which is not what the people of this country voted for. But that, I think, is where it's going to go.
So, Nigel Farage, when you said, as you did, a 52-48 result would be unfinished business...
I didn't for me, no. I said for within the Conservative Party, it would be unfinished business. What was clear...
Sorry, no, my question isn't... Yeah. My question is, all right, maybe you did or didn't say that, but the question is whether, if that's so, what you're saying now, which is that it's going to be a Norwegian-style deal, which is not what we wanted, what's going to happen then?
Well, I think that if we don't get our fishing waters back, we don't get our passports back, we don't get away from the European Court of Justice having the ability to rule on our businesses, our industries, and if we don't get back the ability to make our own trade deals, then I think the 2020 general election could well be a very big replay of this referendum, because I think the one thing I do know, and yes, of course, there were all sorts of things said on both sides of the argument. The temperature got raised to a level we've never seen in this country. What I do know is the 17.5 million people that voted for it, despite being told we'd fall off a cliff and terrible things would happen to us, they voted for it because they meant it. And I think they are not going to change their mind on this. So I hope that the local MP here gives us some real leadership, because frankly, in the first few months, we've had precious little. And if she tells us clearly that we're not just leaving the European Union, we're leaving the single market, because that's what people voted for, I would then be very reassured, and the next general election would be more or less business as usual. Right. But that's not where I think it's going.
All right.